What's new, crew? If you're new, my name is Cassandra. Welcome to my channel, and today we are getting a ton of things done in the kitchen. Hopefully, if all things work out. That's the plan. At least we'll see how things go. I got the kids propped up in the living room over there with a movie and lunch and some snacks. And I'm hopefully going to spend the afternoon in the kitchen getting things done. What I want to start off with are breakfast burritos. My plan is to make a handful of them. I've got a ton of eggs right now. You guys gave me a lot of really great ideas on how to use up eggs. But for today, I'm just going to be using them for breakfast burritos. I pulled out 4 pounds. I think 4 pounds of our maple breakfast sausage from our local pig. I'm gonna get those in the pan behind me. I'm gonna start chopping up some russet potatoes. What we're gonna be stuffing our burritos with are sausage, potatoes, eggs, and some cheese. My cheese is actually still frozen. It's down in the freezer. I'm gonna have to go get that. But other than that, we're all ready to go. So let's start making some burritos. I figured if I end up making too much of this breakfast sausage, it's okay. I'll just end up freezing the cooked sausage, and that way I'll have it when I want to put it in a quiche or in pancakes, or I'm making fresh breakfast burritos or something. While our sausage is going, I'm actually not going to add any seasonings to that. We have that all done at the butcher. It's seasoned, it's delicious. I'm going to chop up just a couple of russet potatoes. I don't need a ton, just because they're pretty decent sized potatoes. I'm going to cut them and then wash them once our sausage kind of released some of that oil, some of that fat. Then I'll throw in our potatoes so that it can cook in the fat. That way I don't have to add any like coconut oil or anything to the pan. The cool thing about these burritos is you can add whatever you have on hand. I'm gonna do my best to cut these potatoes pretty small, that way they cook faster. If you wanted to, you could use frozen hash browns. I actually kind of intended on getting frozen hash browns at the store this morning when I ran, but I forgot, which is okay. So we're just gonna use these russets, which will work just as well. It's just gonna take a little bit of extra time. You could throw in peppers, onions, really whatever you want, but I think my husband is gonna be the one mostly eating these, so he doesn't like those additives. He's a very meat and potatoes kind of guy. So that's what I'm gonna add is meat, potatoes, some eggs and some cheese, and keep it simple. The other task I'm hoping to get done today is my kids really want some cookies. Summer break is here, and my homemade snack jars are pretty empty right now, so I'm hoping to get some chocolate chip cookies whipped up this afternoon as well, and then maybe get my kitchen cleaned up before it's time to cook dinner. I have a very gracious kitchen helper today, so she is going to wash the meat and the potatoes and stir them as needed. And while she is taking care of that, I'm going to throw together our chocolate chip batter really quick. If you're wondering, all of those cookies that we prepped and put in the freezer a couple weeks ago, those are pretty much all gone. Alright you guys, the rest of this video is going to be a voiceover because I completely underestimated how loud my kids were this day, but it's summer break and it was a rainy day, so that's kind of what happens. But I'm just saying, I really like using this taco style cheese from Aldi in my breakfast burritos. I like it because it's already seasoned, and I feel like you're getting more bang for your buck because you're getting cheese and a little bit of a flavor boost, which is really awesome. So London is my oldest, and she really wanted to help me this day, which I really love. I don't get to spend a lot of time in the kitchen with her as much as I do the other kids because she's in school full-time and none of my other kids are. So it was really fun that she really wanted to help me this day. I love it. So she kind of helped here, and I was teaching her some things and we were just talking back and forth. But we're just making our basic chocolate chip cookie recipe. I will have this recipe either written or linked down below. Super simple, super basic, and obviously it's one of my kids' favorites. We make it all the time. We're just getting everything in our mixer here, getting it mixed up, and I had to get my flour right out of the bag because I don't have that many left. And I don't have a lot of flour left. I'm gonna have to do another Sam's Club run here pretty quick. Probably in the next day or two. I only have a couple days worth of flour left, so that 25-pound bag only lasted me about 2 months, which is crazy to think about, but it's a really good thing because that means we're making a lot of things from scratch, which is a really cool accomplishment. So we are over here. We are just gonna start rolling out some of our balls here. I did definitely wash my hands in between rolling these balls and like handling raw eggs and stuff, so hands are washed. We're rolling out a couple balls here just for a couple cookies, and watching our sausage and potato mixture for our breakfast burritos. Once I put the cookies in the oven, I started to get ready to crack a ton of eggs into this little breakfast burrito filling here. I just made a little hole in the center of my pan to put my eggs into, and I started cracking them right into the pan, and then I realized these are the eggs that we were collecting, or the kids were collecting for us when Joe and I had the flu, and they had been in the coop for a couple days. We have a lot of broody hens right now, and I realized I didn't want to be cracking a potentially like partly sat on fertilized egg into our breakfast burrito, so that's why I started cracking them into this bowl. And it was a good thing because you could see I had a couple that were less than desirable and super stinky. So I'm really happy that I took the time to just do this little bit of extra step because it saved my breakfast burritos from potentially getting really nasty really quick. So I think I put in about 2 dozen eggs. I just put in a ton because we had so many from when we had the flu, because obviously nobody really wanted to eat eggs. So we got a ton of eggs used up. I just kind of let these scramble. As always, we're pulling out a ton of cookies as time is going by. And then once my eggs were about, 95% cooked, I dumped in a bunch of that taco cheese and got it all ooey gooey and delicious. And then just let that melt, let that all come together. I did a little bit of a kitchen cleanup while that was happening in the pan, and then I wanted to get my breakfast burrito station set up to kind of start getting tortillas and breakfast burritos put together. But then I decided, you know what, before I roll these burritos, let me go ahead and restock my pantry stuff really quick. This is what I use for my sugar. I got this for Christmas from my dad. It has a little rooster on it. I love it, but I keep it up on my coffee maker. So I had to refill a ton of things today. I had to refill my sugar, which you could see we went through a lot. I'm not going through as much sugar as flour, but that is to be expected. Don't have to use as much sugar in everything as you do flour when you're making a ton of things from scratch. Plus, I've been trying to use more honey recently instead of sugar for like rising my breads and things. So I'm going through less of that. This is my flour container, completely empty. Yeah, it's pretty rough. If you want these little storage container things, I have them linked down below. It's not an affiliate link, it's just a good old normal Amazon link, but that is all the flour I have left in my house, which is absolutely nothing, so that has to go. But these little containers came in a pack of 4. They all came with 1 cup measuring cup, so you can keep right in the little bins, which is so convenient. And then the last thing I had to do was fill in my oats, and then I kind of checked that off the list. So I've been wrapping burritos for a really long time because I've been prepping breakfast burritos for years now, and I kind of have my system down for what works for me. So I like to get everything set up on my counter. I will rip up my tinfoil like you can see in appropriate sized tinfoil pieces, so that all I have to do is scoop out my filling into my tortilla. I'll roll it, put it on my burrito, or put the burrito on the tinfoil and roll it up just like that, and it makes it go super fast. I rolled about 10 burritos, I think, in about 5 minutes, if that even. It goes really quick once you kind of get your station set up versus having to rip your tinfoil every single time. So now, because I have a pile there, it's super simple and super easy, and I can just whip out a ton of burritos. But this rainy day, we spent less than an hour in the kitchen. That included cleanup, and we got about 2 dozen chocolate chip cookies. We restocked our pantries and things, which really needed to happen. It's been something that I had been putting off for a while. And we made 2, well, I think, how many burritos did we get? I'm pretty sure we got 10 breakfast burritos, 5 to put in the fridge and 5 to put in the freezer. So we had about 2 weeks worth of breakfast burritos for my husband to take to work with him, plus lots of cookies for snacking and things. And it felt really good to get a lot of these things checked off of my to-do list, because
They have been on my to-do list for quite some time. I'm still trying to catch up after having the flu. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. Everybody gets the flu and everything kind of falls to the wayside. So it felt really good to kind of get back in the kitchen and get back to being productive and checking things off the list. Thank you guys so much for hanging out on this rainy day with me, and I will catch you guys in another video. See ya!